Welcome to the Living Big podcast, where we're all about embracing life to the fullest. Hey, I'm Marley.
And I'm Kylie, and we're thrilled you're here. We explore how to pursue our passions, nurture meaningful connections, and inject some serious fun into our lives.
We're here to show you you're not alone.
And we want to do what we can to ease the stresses of everyday life and help you in your journey of living big.
Welcome back to Living Big. Today we have an incredible guest with us. This is Steph Evans. She's a woman who wears many hats, and she's amazing. I'm so excited to have you all get to know her. And she's a mom of 2 girls. You live here in Utah.
Yes.
And you are a passionate advocate for screen-free parenting and a dynamic entrepreneur helping content creators lead paid brand collaborations.
Paid brand.
Yes.
That's a tongue twister.
Land paid brand collaborations.
There it is.
But I really do feel like even though you're juggling lots of things, like obviously you're a lot more than just all the things you juggle. So we're really excited to get to know you, to dive into kind of your life and the bold choices that you've made and with parenting and with your job and everything. I think it's going to be really, really fun to get to know you. So thank you so much for being here.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
That's awesome. Something that you had said in some of your content was that your husband traveled for over 200 days this past year.
Yes.
Which is
It's too much.
insane.
Yeah. Horrible. Don't recommend.
So you've been navigating kind of solo parenting for the majority of the year.
Yeah.
Which is
Majority
really
of
intense.
the last 5 years, to be honest.
What does your husband do?
Sales. It's such a common job in Utah, so you guys are probably super familiar with the summer sales stuff, but ours was more like year round with
goodness.
just little trips here and there, and it just added up. Oh. I could handle it with 1 kid, and then once we had our second, I was like, this is not realistic. So yeah, that was my springboard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's amazing though that instead of just letting yourself get overwhelmed, you really found ways to thrive at home, and you cut out screen time while your husband was gone.
Yeah, why
that's
did
when
I
I
do that?
feel like you would need the most screens, you know? You're like,
I know.
keep the sanity.
How crazy is that? I know.
You're like, you know what? I'm gonna make this I'm gonna take this challenge on. I
Yeah.
think that's so admirable and
Oh,
amazing.
thank you.
So anyway, we're gonna be talking in this episode, really exploring how you embrace that screen-free lifestyle with your kids, and how you're building thriving businesses, how you're helping creators get paid, and how you are shaping your family's life. And I'm just pumped.
I know.
Cute.
So pumped.
You
We're
guys
trying
are
not to
awesome.
say excited too
I
much
know.
because we say it a lot.
Her content
Changing the vocab.
is genuinely amazing. At the end, we'll tell you where to follow her, and it will also be in the show notes and everything.
Yeah.
But genuinely, I haven't seen your content for very long, but when I started looking at it, I literally have been eating it up. So I quickly
you're so
reached
nice.
out to you. I was like, we need to have her on. She is phenomenal.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
And you're
You
growing
guys are
rapidly. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
Thank you.
everyone needs to hear from you, and you need to help inspire us all to make these changes to live big. I think it fits right in with
Yep.
what we're trying to do on the podcast.
So true. Agree with that.
I also want to say that I think that this probably will apply to a lot of people, not just moms who are also trying to be entrepreneurs and stuff. I think that talking about screen-free living and things like that are just going to be super helpful.
Yeah.
And maybe
Everyone
just,
needs it.
your backstory. I'm sure it'll help people. So,
Thank you.
so what was the motivation for going screen-free? How
Yes.
to make that decision?
Right, because you're saying, why did I do that? That's crazy. It was just seeing the behavior in my house from my toddler drove me to that. I was like, and it wasn't just in my house. I guess it was in the car, because I started to realize I was giving her my phone in the car every time. That was now a habit. And I was like, this is actually
She needed it to function.
yeah, she
in the car.
needed to, and it started with getting in the car seat. She's a fighter. She's like me, dang it. So she just fights, and so she would not get in her car seat, and I started giving her a movie to distract her so I could buckle her. And then from there, she had it every time. And I was like, okay, I'm driving. If I'm going to give her a screen, I need to be at least getting something done, cleaning my house or cooking dinner while she has a screen. But right now I'm just driving while she has a screen. That's ridiculous. So I was like, this has got to go. So it was my New Year's resolution was what it was I told my husband, we're going to cut out screens from the car. That's all I care about. Yeah. And so we did that January 1st, and she threw the biggest tantrums I've ever heard. And I wanted to just stop immediately. I was done. I was like, this is too hard.
Not worth it.
No, it was so hard. But I just endured the tantrums and just drove with a screaming child for as long as I needed to.
And persevere.
Oh, I know. Horrible. But that's what's so hard is she was having withdrawals from a stupid phone, like a stupid screen. I'm like, kids should not be in this situation. She's 3. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well,
and
if you even think about how we were raised and grew up, like that wasn't even an option. You know?
Exactly. So I was like, kids are not meant to look at a screen like that, and they're not. And this withdrawal is teaching me even more that never should have happened in the first place. So I was like, gotta correct my mistake, and I've got to help my child. So yeah, we endured the tantrums, and within, I think it was like 1 or 2 weeks, it was over. The tantrums were over, and she stopped asking for my phone. She could do long drives with just like minimal entertainment, and it started bleeding into our home life. And I was like, oh, let's just take out screens completely. Like this is naturally happening. So that's how it happened. So
was this January 1st of this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just 8 months ago.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's been an amazing change, especially the timing of me being pregnant, having my second. People were like, you can't maintain this with 2 kids. And I was like, watch me. I'm going to maintain it. So we're trying. She's only a month old, but like starting that early before I had my second was really great to build those habits in my toddler.
It would probably be really hard to start that right at this junction.
Oh, no, I would not recommend that. Yeah.
But I feel like anything before, like anything within like 3 months, I feel like is a great time to make some changes, you know? I feel like 3 months before and 3 months after, you kind of just want to like, keep things.
And I do think if someone started that and cut out from one category of their life, like let's say kids were used to having a phone in a restaurant, just cut it out from the restaurant. Just start small. And also don't cut it out, replace it with something. Like instead of just taking away what they're used to being like stimulated by.
Okay, goodbye.
Yeah, just replace it with a coloring book and then replace it with something else and start prepping your diaper bag better. And all of those things will just like make the transition easier. And then suddenly your kid is like, oh, my brain is calmer and my disposition is just better. Like it will happen.
I love that.
I guarantee it.
I love that. We're already getting so many tips. I love that, and strategies and things like that. Yes. What are some of maybe the challenges you've seen with moving away from screens versus benefits?
Yes. So benefits, well, I guess we'll start with challenges. That's what you asked first was obviously just the beginning, kind of what I already shared, is just like the tantrums but honestly that's such a quick moment, and then the benefits have been forever. So the benefits have been 7.5 months long, and the hard stuff was a half a month long. So the benefits are like she can entertain herself for like forever without me needing to do anything. She sleeps longer.
That's
that
nice.
is literally, I know, it's crazy. I tell people, I'm like, I don't know, there's something happening maybe we don't fully understand in 2024 about screens because it's so new to have so much screens in our face. So there's got to be something chemically happening where her brain can calm down, she can sleep longer. What other benefits? She doesn't throw like spiraling tantrums anymore. She can kind of like regulate. And like the independent play. For one thing. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's been so great. I'm so proud of her too. Because who knows how she could have reacted. Like, I know some parents can't. It's really hard being a parent. So, like, it's not like this is easier said than done, all of this. Yeah. So, but I'm proud of my child.
How does she react when, like, you're using your device? Ooh. Is that a problem for her?
Yes. And that's a huge thing because I get asked that so much on my Instagram is, what about when you want to watch TV? And what about dinner when you're on your phone? And that's kind of the sacrifice you have to make as a parent is you got to put your own phone down.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
which I think is pretty awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I've told my husband, I'm like, dinner time, neither of us can have a screen. Yeah. Because then my toddler wants a screen. Like, what? She should get one if we have one, Yeah. So, yeah, it's great for the whole family.
Yeah. My husband and I have been talking about it a lot recently because it's interesting because screens have been around enough time that we're all super hooked.
Right.
And we like can't live without them.
Pretty used to them.
But they haven't been around long enough that like you said, we don't really know the effects of all these things. Like I didn't grow up looking at my phone at dinner. That was not a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We have no studies of a 3-year-old who grew up with a screen yet. Because it hasn't happened yet. Yeah.
And so I think it's my husband Hiram and I, we were literally talking about this the other day. We're like, we look at our screen too much when we're with her. Like we'll even find we're giving her a bath and we're like scrolling Instagram or something and we're like, why aren't we like connecting with her or talking with her?
Yeah.
And if she's starting to come up to us and say like, put that away, we're like, harsh truth. Like, you're so right. But it's a really, really hard thing to navigate. So I was curious. I mean, I know a lot of the work you do is like digital marketing and media and stuff too. Like, is that an issue for her, or is she okay with you using your phone? Like, how do you navigate that?
Yeah, I've started to just try to separate the two, try to do my work when she's at school. I really don't think I could do my side hustle of digital marketing if my child didn't have preschool, 100%. So preschool hours are just heaven sent for me with my business. And then after she goes to sleep at night, I crank stuff out. And it's been fine for me. So I'm growing and maybe doing things slower than I would like, but I'm a mom first. So I'm like, it's actually okay. Like, this side hustle is what it is. It's a side hustle. My main stuff is motherhood.
Oh, I love that. That's really awesome.
I was wanting to point that out, that you aren't, I guess, just a full-time stay-at-home mom. I don't know how to say any of that without it sounding at all condescending. So I really want to put it out there that that's totally fine. But doing the side hustles, you've got lots of things that you're working on. And so can it be done? Doing both, working and going screen-free with your kids?
I think it absolutely can. 100%. I think one thing at a time, for sure, because we don't want to burn out or be spread too thin or start to compromise your motherhood, because that would be horrible. Like, our kids are little and perfect just one time, and then they grow up. It's not fair. So I definitely don't want to take away like moments from like their childhood, but I do think it absolutely they can coexist 100%. Yeah.
Well, you're already proof that like that's working for you and your family, you know? And so it obviously can be done, and obviously it's going to be tailored to each family and each family's needs. But I don't think there's any harm in trying to reduce screen time. You know, like what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, really. You have nothing to lose. Like, nothing. I mean, if you can handle the tantrums, that's the hardest part. So if you can handle a tantrum, you can handle it. Which we can. We're moms.
So. But I think that's a good question to ask yourself, because like in your mind, you're thinking the world would literally end. Sometimes, at least for me, or I know for a lot of people, that's like a thought.
Oh, yeah.
But if you really dig into that, what is the worst that could happen? Okay, they're going to have a tantrum. Right. Maybe we eventually work through that, and then they don't have them anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And yes, you do have to think ahead. Like you were saying, I'm like, I am so bad at stocking my diaper bag. And then I always I'm like, I shot myself in the foot. Like,
I know, I'm bad too.
Why didn't we bring the necessary things? So it's just like looking ahead and trying to mitigate some of those challenges, I feel like.
And that's what's cool, is your child will start to become entertained by nothing eventually, which is amazing.
I love
which
that.
is what we used to do.
Exactly.
We used to just
look out the window. Like, yeah, exactly. So, and that's what people ask me all the time. Like, what about when you need a break? And I'm like, well, actually, I'm getting a break because my child is entertaining herself with like that stick over there for
and I'm not
45
having
minutes.
to listen to something in the background.
Exactly, yeah. So the break just happens. You get the breaks, yeah.
For me, sometimes when I'm giving her something, I don't ever do that to take a break, but when I'm trying to work on something and I'm giving her a screen or whatever, like that becomes overstimulating for me in the background. I'm like,
agreed.
Okay, everything needs to like turn off.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
That's so cool.
Yes,
I think
love it.
also it just like builds kind of your family, like on your family values of like maybe integrity and things. That's what I'm seeing, at least. Like when you take those screens away from your kids and yourself, it shows like we believe in like fairness, we believe in integrity, we believe
I'm
in
not
like,
gonna be a hypocrite.
Yeah. We also believe in connecting and building family time, and like that's so important. Like so many amazing things, and just kind of observing that kind of come out of this. It's super cool.
I love that. I've never thought about that, so thank you.
I just love the idea of looking at our devices as tools instead of like as like traps, right? And so I like the way that you're really trying to frame your family is like you use them for your work and the different things you need to get done.
Right.
But then you aren't falling into the trap of what they could be and how addictive they can be.
And of course I do. I get in the scroll hole all the time.
We all do.
But minimizing it as much as we can is so great. Yeah.
I love
quote
that.
unquote inspo we're looking for and stuff like that, and then 30 minutes later I don't know where I am.
I know, trying to find an audio forever.
It's so bad.
Oh, yes.
So kind of switching gears here, you've gone through the whole solo parenting thing, and that's been really tough, it sounds like. I mean, I know I wouldn't be able to do that.
Gosh.
So
I'm sure you could. You could do it.
I'm doing too much.
But it's not fun.
I'm sure it's very difficult. I'm sure that was a motivation to kind of start some side things, but I'd love to kind of dig into that more and see what made you decide to go that direction and choose that specifically.
Yes. So I've been doing content creation for about 4 years now. So I know the world, I know the business. I've treated it as a job for quite a few years now. So I guess it kind of started the same time as the screen free stuff, which is funny. Everything was changing at that point in my life. And like a side tangent, so I'm a figure skater too. And,
That's so cool.
and I went on tour in New York on a show in December, and it was amazing. I know, like, literally, it's a huge tangent, but
No, I love it.
Like, were you pregnant?
I'm like, I want to know more.
I was like, I left when I was like 3 weeks pregnant.
Holy, that's so cool.
It was amazing. So that was such a huge goal for me all growing up, was to like do a tour, like professionally skate. And then I did my tour, and I was just like fulfilled, and I was like, time to move on with something else. Because I know it like sounds great, but I needed some help. I had problems. I was like, I cannot move on until I do a tour. Like, I was way too obsessed with that, and I loved it. Great experience.
I'm glad you got to do it though.
I got to do it.
She hit
it
that
really,
goal.
Yeah.
I know. It really freed my brain. Like, I told my husband, I was like, I need this. Like, this is for me, and this is for no one else. So I was really glad I did that. But coming home, I was like, okay, now let's look at my reality. I'm pregnant. My husband is gone all the time. I did that tour, so skating, I will still pursue it, but minimally now. So I've got some time.
I have a toddler.
I have a toddler, and then the screen-free stuff, I started taking away the screens. So I basically just, my screen-free stuff led me to look into the business world of digital products, where I was like, okay, I'm getting so much traction from this screen-free stuff that I'm posting. Like, I'm growing so big and so fast, and people are asking me a million questions about it. So I was like, there's clearly a market for this. So I started to think business-wise. That's when I started to kind of shift my brain from skating to like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and figure this out. And if I can get my husband home as a byproduct, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. And not just retire. I'm not trying to retire him. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because that would leave him unfulfilled and stuff. But I'm just trying to help.
Yeah.
So I wrote a guide about screen-free parenting to kind of just see if I could make something and sell it. Like, will people even want to buy what I make?
Yeah.
So it was kind of a test, and it was amazing. Like, it did well enough that I was like, I am going to, like, keep going with this.
I'm going to go for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then with the brand deal stuff, I've been working with brands for 4 years, like I said, as a content creator. So I wanted to do that way before even the skating tour. Like, I was like, I love working with brands. I do think I could teach this, but none of that was like steps I would take immediately. I just, it was so abstract. I was like, I would love to coach, but I don't really know how to even do that.
Yeah.
So anyways, writing that product about screen free time made me be like, I'm going to write a product about brand deals and I'm going to see how that goes. And then I saw my niche changing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, this is messing up my main account. So I just started a new account. That's
Started
what
from scratch.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I was like, I've got to just start somewhere else.
Because it's two different thoughts.
It's so different. And I say that to people who I help with social media. I'm like, if your niche is so different, you got to start somewhere else.
Yeah.
You just have to. So anyways, that was a really long answer to your question. I'm sorry.
That's why we're here. I love it.
You have to cut a lot of that out.
Nope. I love
of it.
it. It's all
That's awesome.
perfect. I think that's amazing. I really, really love that you took what you were doing and it was working for you and you were like, oh, I bet you this would help other people. So like, let's make education on it. Because so many times it's really easy to just be good at something and like keep that for yourself. But I really admire and appreciate that you're like, okay, like let's help other people do the same thing.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is so helpful for me.
Right.
And you had to go down kind of the painful journey of like self-discovering it.
I know.
You know?
And that's what creates an amazing product is if you've been through the trenches with something, absolutely teach how you got out of those trenches.
Right.
Because someone else is probably in the trenches and needs your help. So
Well, you're like, I became an expert because of my hard work, like
Right.
learning this. So now
Right.
I'm going to share that expertise. And I think that's so awesome.
it's
I
been
love
really
that.
fun. I've loved it.
I've never thought of it that way, that like someone might be there. Someone's in the trenches and you've already gotten out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you have learned can help someone.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, I love that.
I know. It's the best.
That's so cool.
It's fulfilling for you and then it helps other people. And also you are able to like make a little bit of money with it too,
Yeah.
which is so helpful. Like
Yeah.
it's great.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's awesome that you saw a turning point. You're like, okay, we need to do things a little bit differently because of all the things you were going through. Like, it sounds like everything was culminating in that moment. And then you not only made your family changes, but you were able to apply that to getting paid, which is awesome. And then helping
Right.
other people do that. That's phenomenal. It's
Oh,
really, really
thank you.
awesome. So, like thinking about that leap and everything from parenting to influencer marketing, like it makes a lot more sense now. It's not like those are far-fetched or completely different,
No.
you know?
Yeah, they do bleed a little bit together. Yeah.
Especially because it was from what you were learning from that parenting side
Yeah.
that made you realize you knew how to do the influencer marketing stuff. And so you're like, okay, let's like help that. So
Yes.
it makes a lot more sense to me when I was originally like looking at your stuff. I was like, I wonder how she made this
To jump.
jump.
Oh, yeah. An outsider would be like, what on earth? Like, why did she do this?
No, I know, like, I know you're an expert, but more I'm just like, whoa, like, those are, like, two very different, except for
Yes.
they're not. Like,
No.
I know.
one track led to the next track.
Yeah, and that's what I did when I started my business side. I tried to cater it so to moms to keep my people that I know already see my stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want this to apply to you. Like, if you're a
Yeah.
mom and you need, like, a little bit of extra income, because, oh my gosh, I hear that all the time. Like, moms, like, just want, you know, just a teeny bit of extra income to help with anything. Like,
Yes.
it's a big deal for moms. So I was like, oh, I have your solution. Like,
Yeah.
let's get into brand deals. Like,
That's
let's, you know what I
awesome.
mean? So,
Especially if, again, like, you're already scrolling on social media and you're always
Oh
already
my
building a
gosh.
following.
Yeah.
literally, if you're already trying to build a following,
Yeah.
you've really, again, nothing to lose. Just try.
Yeah, you might as well just, like,
love
try
that.
all the things.
I know.
Nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing to lose.
So have there been any key lessons that you've learned in transitioning from or between those two roles?
Yeah, the one being, I mean, the starting a new account. That was my biggest
Yeah.
lesson because I actually tried to do it on my main account. Like, I was posting business on my main account and I was like, this is kind of horrible. Like, I feel like I was forcing this new information on people that followed me for, like, parenting help. And I was like, I don't feel authentic anymore. Like, I feel a little bit manufactured. And I even got some pretty gnarly hate comments of people being like, unfollowing, like, she's turning into a business, like, money, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, no, that's not what I'm doing. But
Also, people need money to live and survive. So
I know,
thank you.
I just was
Especially
like,
in
clearly
modern
this is not,
society.
I know. Yeah, I know, I agree. Anyways, I was just like, I don't like all the hate, and was just kidding, I can handle it, it's okay. But anyways, that was my one thing. And I had a business coach at the time who was so adamant on me not making a new account. I was like, dang it, that was bad advice. Like,
That was bad advice.
it was. I feel like she's
Is it
fine.
because she just wanted you to leverage the following?
Yeah,
you already
she was
had,
like,
and she felt like
why-
it'd be so hard to start over.
Exactly.
See, but
Yeah.
not all of them are going to be your ideal client.
Think about this: 130,000 people who don't care about your product versus 1,000 people that follow you for your
Really?
product. Which one's
Yeah.
better? It's so clear that the
Yeah.
niched one is. So yeah, I was like, I took that advice, tried it, posted about it, hated it. I felt not right. Nothing was meshing, and also brands were starting to see my engagement drop, and brands pay me for that. So they were like, "What's going on with you?" And I was like, "True, you're right. I need to separate." And so since starting my business account, I've been so much happier and calmer, and no, it was the right choice. That was my first lesson I learned, was just start a new account. If it's a totally different niche, and you can still be successful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, starting over is not a bad thing.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Event Penguin, your go-to solution for creating unforgettable events. Say goodbye to clunky and hard-to-use event sites and create your next event in minutes today.
Whether it's a party, conference, or a networking event, Event Penguin has everything you need to bring your vision to life. Visit eventpenguin.com today and discover beautiful, customizable event pages that make planning a breeze. With a seamless guest experience, Event Penguin lets you focus on what truly matters, making your event a smashing success. Start building your community through events effortlessly. Jump in!
So what are some of the steps you took to build each of your Instagram accounts?
So my main one, my larger following one, was kind of an accident, to be honest. I was posting reels before, like, anyone was, so everything was going viral really easily.
awesome.
Like, RIP those days. It's really hard now, like, to break
That's
into
what
that.
we're
We're in the thick
right
of
now.
that.
I know, yes. So and it's not even, like, my content, I do love creating content. I love, like, being creative and, you know, making it, like, match the audio and, like, I don't know, just making it fun to watch. So I kind of feel like I have a knack for that already, but I was just posting so much about my daughter just having fun with it that my account just took off pretty quickly. And then it kind of, when people started getting into reels and it became more competitive, my account definitely slowed down. And I was still doing brand deals, but everything was gifted. Like, I was just, meaning, like, brands were giving me product and I was posting for free. Yes. So, which is fun at first. You're like, oh my gosh, I got
free
clothes.
stuff.
Yeah, whatever. Like,
blanket.
it's
Yeah.
great for a time, and then suddenly you're like, actually I'm so burnt out. Like I am, because then you start to get better at content creation, but you're still not getting paid until you make those changes. So anyways.
And then you've got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. And then it's clutter. Yeah. And you're like, dang it. Yeah. So it's just really a lose-lose at the end of the day. So my account really took off when I niched down like crazy with the screen free stuff. And even before, like, so right after my figure skating tour, when I did start, wanting to do things digitally, whatever that meant, like entrepreneurship online, I detoxed my account before even starting the screen free content. And I just removed everything that didn't make sense to like an outsider. Like, and it was fine. I loved it. I was like, let's just make my account so clear. Like, let's not be confused at all. So because I love going to the gym and I like have all these side passions, which we all do, or like we all have side passions, but I just kind of like cleaned it up and then started posting about screen free stuff. Really quickly it took off, and then I just only posted about that for like 2 months. And it completely worked. Like my account went crazy, and it was so clear why. Like people saw my content, saw that if you scroll down quite a bit, my content was still screen free stuff. So there's like, oh, this is her niche. I have trust in her that she's going to post about screen free stuff again. You know what I mean? So anyways, those are the things that helped my main account grow and stuff, and that's been amazing. And then since growing, I have brought back some of the personality into it, which I tell people all the time. I'm like, if you niche down, it's not a life sentence. Like we all, like, you know what I mean? You can. That's a great way to gain a following, and sometimes that's what you have to do, because it's really hard to build a following, but that following, gives you that credibility and stuff, and that really helps in your business. So I have started to post a little bit about my side things again, but keeping 80% of it about the same thing has kind of been my strategy, and it's been working great. So yeah, that's my awesome. That's my tips with my main account. And then with my business account, starting that, I'm obviously trying to repeat those steps with business, trying to just make everything really consistent, speak to beginners all the time. I'm not trying to be complicated with my verbiage. I'm trying to just make it so if someone sees my account, they immediately know what I do. Yeah. And they immediately feel like they got some help from me, even if they don't follow.
It's very valuable.
Yeah, so like I want them, if they click on one thing, they felt like they learned something. And if they don't follow, maybe they'll see my stuff again. If they learned again, that's, a good indicator they might follow, because I learned twice from this girl. So things like that.
Well, the other thing you do that I thought was awesome, so I saw one of your reels, and I was like, that's really helpful. Yep. So I saved that. Oh. And then I went to your stories, because I was like, oh, like she has the cute little bubble. It means there's stories, you know? And I saw you were like, hey, I'm doing free audits on this Friday or whatever of your Instagram. So I was like, I mean, I'll put our account name in there. Like, we want to grow. We'll see what happens. I didn't. Right. A lot of times people don't actually like respond to that stuff. You sent me 4 voice messages.
Oh boy, sorry.
No,
it was all
good. Not as a sorry. No, like genuinely, it was so helpful, and it immediately like bonded me to your account, you know, and to you, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so helpful.
She's a real person.
Yes. Like for real. She will actually look at my stuff and help me, and so immediately, like I think that's another aspect you've done really well with your accounts is like actually creating relationships.
Right. It's called social media. People forget that. Like, build relationships.
Well, I feel like nowadays, like, we get really stuck in the trap of just, like, putting out content, you know? And it's not, like, we're not engaging. My husband, he's a classic example of this. I'm like, you don't contribute anything on social media.
He just scrolls but doesn't do anything.
He's just a little viewer.
I'm like, you don't like anything. You don't comment on anything. You don't save anything or whatever. Which, I mean, that's a lot of husbands. Like, that's fine.
It's fine.
He does him. Yeah. But for me, to get the value, if I am going to do that, like, I want to be engaging with real people, and I want to be learning and all the things that, like you said.
And you reap what you sow. If you put it out, you'll get it back. Yeah. 100%. So, yes,
but I just really have admired how bold you've been, because that could also be scary. Like, hey, I'm going to come audit your account. I don't know. I just think it's awesome. You're like,
it's been crazy. I have like 0 followers, and I'm like, let me give you an audit. It's crazy. But exactly.
That's how you grow.
That is. And that's how you build relationships, is you nurture people in the DMs. And because you guys, I mean, look at us now. Like, I'm like so happy to be here. I would never get this opportunity. So exactly a perfect example of you reap what you sow. You give and you will receive.
Like, let's be friends.
Exactly. It's so great. Yes.
So I really admire that. I think being bold in building your personal brand too, and just like kind of putting in the hustle is an important part of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Putting
Thank
in
you.
the hustle.
I know hustle culture is rough, but we try and then we set boundaries
Yeah.
when we hustle. Yes.
And I always say there's
Like
seasons,
boundaries?
right? So we
I know. What's
we
a boundary?
sprint for a season and
Yeah.
then we slow down
Oh,
to a more
100%.
moderate pace.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Yes. I know. Agreed.
Yeah.
But no need to be stressed because it's okay. And you guys will grow at the pace you're supposed to.
She's
and
like, wait, I heard a big sigh.
you guys are doing
Well,
the
okay.
work. I am like, don't stress out.
So this conversation, I had this feeling that this conversation would be very timely for me, just with my own like personal and work stuff that's going on, kind of thing. I'm just kind of at like a crossroads, and
Really?
so just to have just your thoughts are very, very helpful. And I
wanna,
really appreciate it.
I want to hear more about that after, later,
Yeah.
right now, whatever.
I mean, like,
Her full-time job.
yeah, I work a
Are you
full-time
switching?
job.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to decide if I stick it out for a little while
Gotcha.
or I stop. My husband, our husbands work together.
Oh, cool.
They started their own
business.
business together.
Oh, fun.
They're data guys. And so they do their own consulting, which means that they work their own hours. But my husband is working multiple clients at the same time, working like, sometimes it's normal. A lot of times it's like 13 to 16 hours every day,
Holy.
which means that I'm a single mom sometimes.
Yeah.
And when it first started, it really overwhelmed me because I was like, I'm doing literally everything by myself. I'm taking care of my kids. I'm trying to do laundry. I'm trying to get food on the table and all these things. Anywho, so it was just a lot. And so I put in my letter of resignation at my job, which I'm really sad about because I love my job. However, there might be like a part-time opportunity soon, and I'm trying to decide if it's worth it to me
Right.
to stick around until that becomes an opportunity, which it's not even guaranteed that I will get it.
Right.
Because I still have to like apply for it and maybe get it. And will that be fulfilling to me? Am I doing it because I
feel like you
am
have to.
afraid? Am I just too loyal? Things like that. I'm just like, like I said, at this kind of crossroads.
Are you the kind of person that like is so hard for you to say no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that because I am same.
Yeah.
No, she's been cracking me up because she goes, okay, I sent them my letter of resignation with this date. And she's like, I feel really good about it. And then she'll Marco Polo me and she'll go, okay, well, so there's this thing and I could stay longer.
I could just actually stay.
And I'm like, okay.
Keep my foot in the door.
If that's what you want
I
to
know.
do. And then she goes, okay, so actually I've moved my date back a little bit and I feel really good about it.
I said that this morning.
This morning. And then an hour later, she's like, hi, so
Maybe I'm not gonna quit.
maybe there's an opportunity, so maybe I just won't quit at all. And I'm like, okay, listen.
You're like, just make a decision.
No, I have no problem talking through this, and I know it is so complicated, you know,
Yeah.
but
I
more
know,
I'm just
there's
like,
lots of
if it is
factors
just
here.
because you have a hard time saying no,
Yeah.
then no.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say no. Just
I
kidding.
know.
No, it's really hard to figure it all out, but
Yeah. It's
tough.
I think thinking through these thoughts and like recognizing that
Mm-hmm.
there are seasons for everything is also really important.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, like you're saying, even with niching down your account, you were like, that doesn't mean that all the stuff you love is gone forever.
Right.
Yeah.
So like same thing with the things that you're going through or that we're all going through. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that doesn't
nothing's
mean
really
those doors
permanent.
are closed
No.
forever.
Something
permanently.
might
Love that.
open you never would get.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
It is.
It's yeah. Not
Well,
saying it's not hard.
Even with like our reel that's going viral right now.
Viral. To
I know.
us.
To us,
It is.
Like it might be at 100K now. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going so fast, which I'm mind blown. We're mind blown. But to me, that like is a little bit of like a sign to be like, hey, you're doing something right, and
Yeah.
maybe that's the direction to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to put motherhood first for once.
Yeah.
No, not
For-
for once.
For a while, it's been needed for me to work.
Yeah.
Just financially or whatnot, you know.
100%,
It's
yeah.
expensive to live.
Very true.
But now just with my husband's consulting thing, it's not as needed for me to work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't maybe need to invest as much time because I'm putting in like 12-hour days at work.
Wow.
So-
You guys both doing that. That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't recommend
Not
that.
sustainable.
No.
No.
No. Anywho, so I'm learning a lot from you and just kind of the thoughts that you've shared, and it's been really helpful.
Good.
Yeah.
That's so good to hear. Yeah, that's giving me too much credit, but thank you.
This is why we have these conversations. Though.
I know.
It's like
This is
just
so
like
good.
collaborating and talking to people like helps you.
It does.
grow on a thought.
Yes, agreed.
I think it's awesome.
Bouncing
thrive.
ideas off is really helpful
Yeah. My
with
favorite.
decisions. Yeah.
It really is. Okay, we want to get into some random tips with you too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was
Yes.
going to ask you some questions.
All right. Maintaining authenticity. I feel like one
Yeah.
thing you do really well is that authenticity. I feel like you show your family, you do voice messages like we've talked about, other tips for maintaining that.
And you mean for both my accounts, just kind of in general?
In general.
I definitely love that social media has become a little bit less filtered. We're not doing the crazy filters and like cutting everything and like deleting your story 1,000 times to make it perfect. Like I didn't say this right. Like I like that it's becoming a little bit more chill. So I think just doing that, showing up, and if you mess up, people are like, oh, she's a human, like whatever, you know, or if you have a typo in something, who cares? Like, so just not worrying about being perfect. That's the most authentic you can be, is you just show you're a human, and of course respond to people. Like people took the time to comment back. Like that's a person. So yeah, things like that.
Oh, I love that. So good. All right. What are some quick tips for reducing screen time in your family?
Okay. Oh, I could go off on this.
I have a whole account for this.
I know. I just read my guide. I've already shared a few. Taking a screen away from one category at a time. I definitely recommend that. Not going cold turkey, because that would be really hard on the mom. So just one category at a time, take it away. But you'll notice if you take it away from one category, the rest are really easy to take away from too. So hide the iPad. Just hide it. Like, do not let them see it. That's just gonna you're gonna go backwards.
It will trigger them.
Yeah. Exactly. So hide it.
Know.
Yes, my daughter's iPad is hidden in my closet. I'm never getting it out. Let's see. The thing I shared about replacing it with something instead of just taking it away and leaving them empty-handed.
Yeah.
So replace it with something, and it doesn't even need to be like buying all these toys and trinkets from Amazon constantly. Like there's so many things in your house you could replace it with that you already have. Like a younger baby, like replace it with like a whisk or something, or like put like pipe cleaner in a whisk and let them try to take it out or something. Like for a younger baby that would work, or like for a toddler, someone older, just give them like a puzzle undone and be like, see, can you find the corner? Like just start to kind of like teach them how to do slower playing or whatever.
Painter's tape.
I know. I was just gonna say
The
that.
mom's dream.
I know. Tape their
Anything
stuff
you
to the
wanna
wall.
do.
Peel that off. I just learned
Hopscotch on the floor. Like
Yes.
whatever.
I give my toddler a spray bottle, and I'm just like, clean everything. Like she
I love
sprays
that.
stuff that shouldn't be sprayed with water, but I'm like, whatever.
It's worth it.
I know, it's fine.
On the whole house.
Clean it all.
I love that.
I know. I'm trying to think what else my guide talks about. I really love doing a toy rotation. Just
Yes.
kind of, and that's hard to set up as a mom because we're busy, but buying a bag, just buy 2 bags, one's always empty and one's has, the toys in it. Fill all your stuff in with the empty one and then put the full one back in and just rotate every 6 months or 3 months or whatever you want to do. And that can be helpful for kids too. So, and for moms.
That's what we're having to do right now, because I was noticing that it was like overstimulating my daughter to have so many toys.
Yes.
And then she wouldn't play with any of them.
Exactly.
And I'm like, why do we have a single toy? Like,
Exactly.
let's just delete them from the universe.
Yeah, take away half and just donate them or something. Yeah, I've done that too.
Or rotate so that when they get bored of the other one, it's like, here you
Yes.
go.
I did start doing that. I bought a little cubby because I wanted to display 1 toy per cubby.
Oh,
and a lot of
6
them
total.
Exactly, 6 toys, and every single one is open ended, which just means that the toy isn't like a battery powered thing that they play with and then it's like over. There's nothing you can do with it, but it's a toy that like sparks imagination and like pretend play and things like that. Or a puzzle is an open-ended toy, so I'd start displaying open-ended toys that are like, if it's a puzzle undone, make sure if it's done up, they're not going to play with it,
Right.
So just undone, open-ended, 6 toys at a time, and
That's
you
awesome.
will be blown away by what your child does with those toys.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're just dumping them all out on the floor.
Yeah.
And not looking at them.
Yeah.
That's it.
True.
Like,
Very
well,
true.
Oh, those are great tips.
I know. So good.
Oh, good.
So good.
Oh, good.
Let's see here. Any last kind of actionable steps for monetizing, starting social media?
Yeah.
Trying to make money.
Yeah, I love this. Monetizing. Actually, here's the first thing I'll say about that is, I think a lot of people come to me and are like, ooh, that sounds fun, making money on social media. But I want people to know, like, you are going to put some time and work into this. Like, so I tell people, I'm like, if you want to grow your following, make sure do you want to just grow your following because you like that vanity metric, or do you want to grow a community that you're gonna that's your community. You got to keep nurturing them. You got to keep showing up. If you're the kind of person that doesn't want a long-term thing, I would say don't try to monetize, because it has to be long-term, like long-term, whatever that means, but it's not a quick thing. So I say, make sure you really want to do this. Make sure you really want to invest the time and energy into growing a following, and then maintaining that following, and
like a real authentic following.
Yes, exactly. Like just making sure, that you put the time that you want into that. If all those answers are yes, then my next thing I would say is try to niche down, which people hate. But again, it's not a life sentence.
I hate that.
I know. I hate it too.
You keep saying that. I'm like, but why?
I know.
I like so many things.
I know, it's so bad.
It's so cute right now.
Because we are whole humans.
Exactly.
We talk about this constantly.
I know. And it's funny because it's like you can absolutely still be authentic, niche down, because for one, here's the one thing why I love being niche down, is because now your entire life isn't behind the screen. Only one category of your life is, which is such a relief for me, at least. Like when I was posting about everything under the moon, I was like,
the gym and what you're cooking.
I was like, shoot, I have to set up my
now.
tripod while I'm skating, while I'm cooking, while I'm doing anything, while I'm going to the gym, like lifting. Like I was like,
hi.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, but we've all been there, because you're like, oh, someone would like you have a real idea and it's so good, but it's totally out of your niche, and then you try to do it and it doesn't do well, right? Things like that. So I just love knowing that my account serves one purpose, and the rest of my life can be off screen, and it can just be like I can breathe again.
And if you want to post it somewhere, you can journal it,
or you can do
That's
your
what I
close
need to do.
or close friends option. I love that Instagram gave us that, because I'm like, oh,
I've never tried it, because I'm always like, what use? That makes sense.
All of the people that I follow and follow me are my close friends. No, they're not.
Quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
oh my gosh.
No,
No,
that's
I
very
love it.
helpful.
I love it because I'm like, okay, I want to post this lift. I got a PR, but my majority won't care about that, but my close friends will. So anyways, that's kind of how I maintain that authenticity.
like
with
Maybe
that.
have just unlocked my brain.
I know.
Oh, good. It's hard because it's just, again, so you asked about monetizing. It's starting to see your account as a business and not for your high school friends anymore. Like, and that's a hard thing, but obviously those high school friends and those relationships can stay in the close friends.
Yeah.
But if you want to actually make like a good income on Instagram, it's you've got to plow ahead with a business mindset. Yeah. And so niching down, being consistent, posting value, sharing a lot of free information, like creating something in Canva that's free, and then you give it out. And then start to see, as you start to kind of figure out your niche, and maybe you switch and maybe you have 2 niches, it's fine. Like, but as long as you're consistent with kind of like solving someone's problem, you're going to get questions and you're going to get people intrigued. And then you start to see, okay, what can I do with these questions? Like, can I create a product, a paid product out of these questions? Like, do I get similar questions a couple times a week? Like, could that, so like if someone's like, how do I start a podcast? You guys would be like, you guys can make a product about that. Like, this is the starter kit to starting a podcast. I would buy that if I wanted a podcast, because I don't know how to start.
Yeah.
Things like that. So anyways, that's one way to monetize, of course, is selling your products on Instagram. Another way is the brand deals, which I love, love, love. It's my absolute favorite thing in the world. And that's because I've started to, and it's all this, it's so funny. It's an umbrella. It's all the same. It goes under the same umbrella as treating people behind their phones like real people. And that's the same with a brand. If a brand reaches out to me and wants to work with me, I'm not going to just shoot back my rates and not care. I'm going to be like, let's get on a call. I want to learn everything about your brand. I want to know your mission. I want to know, why did you start this? Like, I want to know everything about them. And then I want to embody that when I promote it. Like, I want them to be like, this influencer cares about me. And that's what I want. So anyways, brand deals have become so fun because I build these relationships with these amazing companies. And then you get paid very well. It's a great, great little side thing.
There are already brands that we like love and breathe, you know?
And are
So it's
promoting.
like,
absolutely.
Like,
because we like them.
My husband and I all the time, like there's certain, we love Purple so much. We have sold every single family member and friend a Purple mattress. And I'm like, we should get a cut. I genuinely believe in it, you know? So I'm not saying Purple specifically, but just like working with those brands. Something for Marley and I that's really important as we're building Living Big, and as we look into getting to do that, hopefully, is that we love small Utah businesses and we want to help them grow. So it's not just I want to get paid.
Yes.
It's like I genuinely believe in them too, and I would love to help them grow.
Yeah, when you're a fellow small business owner, you're like, oh, I know how it is at the beginning. Let me help you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's lots of opportunities in that regard. But
it's so great. And it's such a great mom job too.
Yeah.
You do not have to leave your house. The brand sends you something, you use it, you talk about it, and done deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the basic things you need in place? You've got a phone.
Literally a phone, Wi-Fi, a tripod. Yes, literally that's it.
Okay. If you want to get fancy, you get Canva, but Canva's free. You can do it for free.
True. Yeah, exactly. And I edit within the Instagram app. I'm easy. I use 2 apps. I use Captions and Instagram.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Awesome.
The hard stuff is when people forget that they need to treat the brand like a business that needs help. It's not just like this corporate, scary, all they care about is money. Like, no, they're people that like need help. So, and everyone needs marketing. Every single brand needs marketing, which is why it's so great. Like my grandpa asked me yesterday, I was kind of talking about what I do, and it was really confusing to him. But he was like, "Stop."
There's this thing called social media.
I know.
Just kidding.
And he goes, his question to me was like, oh, what'd he say? He was like, well, I'm so confused. Like, can't like everybody do that? Like, why would they pay you so much? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's actually really hard to build a following, and that's the biggest thing is you can charge more when you have a following, but it is true. Like, even without the huge following, you will never, ever, ever run out of clients because everybody needs marketing. So he was like, oh, if you teach someone how to do it, aren't you worried they're your competition now? Yeah. I was like, not at all. Literally, I've never thought of that. Like, I want them to succeed so bad too. That's why I wrote my guide.
It's not taking it out of my pocket.
No, because there's 1,000 million brands out there that would replace it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Especially here in America. It's crazy, you know?
Especially even
literally right here in this county. I know. All these entrepreneurs that live here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, where can our listeners find you? Yep.
I'm on Steph R. Evans is my handle on Instagram, and then Steph R. Evans Biz is my business account. I'm so creative.
Love it.
And that's about it. I'm on the other platforms, TikTok, YouTube, and Pinterest, whatever, but Instagram is where you'll get all these tips that I just shared here.
Awesome. That'll also be linked in the show notes. Yeah. For anyone who struggles with spelling or anything like that.
True, Biz is B-I-Z, so.
No, I love it. It's been so enjoyable kind of picking your brain and learning about, honestly, like, limiting screen time. I think it's more doable than we think it is. And that's what I've really gotten out of this conversation is, like, don't be so afraid of making a change, whatever that is, with your kids. Like, even if that's not screens or whatever, just, like, take it one step at a time. I think that's phenomenal. And then for the people who are interested in really, like, niching down in their content and making awesome content and potentially getting paid, like, you've shared some really, really actionable tips. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
You're amazing. It's been so fun having you
I know,
here.
this has been awesome.
You
oh my
guys
goodness,
are
I've learned so much.
Sweet. Good.
Changed my life a little bit. It's great.
During the week, we'll probably put up a QA box so that we can spam her with questions and things like that.
Please.
But please follow along, and seriously, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys. You guys are the best.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Living Big podcast. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Join us on Instagram and TikTok for all the things, from relatable mom memes to fun girls' night ideas with your besties. See you next week!